When the night was closing in, I was alone and so afraid.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're gonna look at a meme-ish build. Why meme-ish? Because it requires a Specter, so I wouldn't exactly recommend using this for normal play. But if you want to have some fun, this one is specifically for Steel Path Survival. You can use it in other modes as well, but this is not a setup with top tier KPM. It sits at about 110 plus with a Specter and around 90 without a Specter. But why do we need a Specter today? That's right, this is Archgun DPS, a Fluctus to be exact. Archguns have some significant obstacles to overcome for a normal Steel Path mission. They don't have galvanized mods, they don't have weapon arcanes, they ignore most ability buffs including all elemental ones, and they don't have the best assortment of mod choices and also lack banes outside of ribbons. You cannot use your other weapons with it out, and holstering an Archgun with non-full ammo puts it on scaling cooldown relative to the ammo missing. Up to 3 minutes. But most importantly, they have a limited ammo capacity. Normal ammo drops in mission do not apply, and even ammo case from carrier will not convert ammo into Archgun ammo. The only known methods are Lavos' transmutation probes, which transforms ammo drops into universal ammo that includes Archguns, or Protea's dispensary, which also spawns universal ammo boxes as well. I actually covered how you could use the Corvus Prime with Lavos a while back, and that was super fun. Whereas Corvus Prime shoots somewhat slow and kills many enemies at once, the Fluctus is much spammier to use and burns its ammo quickly. But neither of these abilities are Helminth options. However, Protea's Spectres actively cast Dispensary every 40 seconds off cooldown. The Specter Dispensary lasts 25 seconds and spawns ammo every 5 seconds. It's enough to completely offset the ammo usage of your Archgun forever, so long as you actually pass by the ammo, which is where Vacuum helps. Meanwhile, the Lavos Spectre doesn't cast Transmutation Probe at all, so we're sticking with Protea. Dispensary also drops energy orbs, which helps a lot with our borderline energy economy. I have balanced the energy usage on each frame today, but the Protea Spectre ensures we stay positive. Keep in mind, Dispensary will not drop more items until you pick up the previous one it spawned. It should not matter which Spectre type you craft, but the lower ones give more Spectres per craft. I made mine with the 3-star 4 Spectre, though I don't think lower tier Spectres will have different AI, as even the 2-star Spectre should work. I gave her a 10 at Archiplasmor, the rest was just the fill. The Fluctus is a rather weak Archgun. It has less than half the damage of the Corvus Prime I originally showcased, with significantly worse crit and status. However, there is one cool gimmick that sets it apart. It has infinite terrain punch through, just like the Zenith. Imagine Archiplasmor on a stick, shot out of a Zenith. That's the Fluctus, except it actually benefits from headshot multipliers as well. Because this weapon's status sucks, even though it is a slash weapon, the bleed procs are non-existent and serves much better as a raw damage weapon, but this also means it requires armor strip. Now, the Veilbreaker update has brought us a buffed Terrify, which is now the best AoE armor strip in the game, but with the drawback of an enormous cast cost. So by combining full strip with a Fluctus and a buff frame to make up for the lack of galvanized mods and weapon arcanes, we can completely terrorize enemies no matter where they are on the tile. I want to make sure to use the terrain ignore, so I need buffs that stick to me or ways to debuff enemies through walls. The best options for that today are Chroma, Harrow, and Garuda. Let's go over a universal Fluctus build I'll be using on all 3 frames. It is pure viral and built around crit. Critical focus actually gives critical chance and critical damage, not base damage. The wording is just misleading, but it is a very powerful mod. Critical focus and parallax scope pushes us to 57.2 crit chance, and on some of the Arcane Avenger builds we have today, that's just enough to push it above 100% crit to make sure we get big damage. Ammo chain is here to improve the ammo economy as well as how much you spawn with. This will make it a lot easier to maintain the ammo drops from your Spectre's dispensary. Prime Rubedo Line Barrel is also very important for scaling your damage properly, and Barrel actually has this mod in stock at the time of this upload, so pick it up. Let's move on to our frames. Chroma first. This is the only loadouts today that can trash Acolytes easily. Garuda can also do it, but slower, or situationally if her Dreadheart is available to nuke the Acolyte. Today's Harrow is more team-oriented, and I strongly recommend using him in squads only, but back to Chroma. I've subsumed off effigy for Terrify, as we need a good way to AoE armor strip if you want to take advantage of Fluctus' infinite terrain punch through. The other part to understand is that every single weapon you bring today doesn't matter, besides the Fluctus. This is because the weapons will be permanently holstered while using Fluctus, and our goal is to not have to put the Archgun away, ever. This means your primary, secondary, and melee slots are only being used as utility stat sticks. I'm bringing a random primary with Amalgam Serration. No, Fractalized Reset does not apply to Archgun reloads. I just have it as part of the actual Rubico hunting build, and no, this is a Volt Ribbonless Rubico, not one meant for a Chroma. Anyways, the pistol just serves to bring 2 Augur mods for shield gating, and the melee, well, you either have a choice of bringing Vastalock to armor strip if you absolutely have to come out of Archgun mode, or a movement melee such as Praetos for plus 30% parkour velocity. You don't need to have the weapon out for this Incarnon perk to take effect. I've chosen to bring Uneru on this Chroma to overcome its one weakness: Terrify being unable to armor strip Acolytes. This also means you can easily self-revive if you down with Last Gasp, since enemies are full stripped by your operators too. All of our loadouts will be using this Panzer, with the main premise of Viral Quills giving us easy room-wide viral proc since Fluctus has low status. On frames with Equilibrium, the synth set will also create a ton of health orbs that you can pick up even at full HP, because anything affected by Viral Quills is considered a pet assist. For the Chroma build today, we're going the combat discipline route, so self-buffing on killing enemies with Fluctus. This is a shield gating Chroma, so it allows us to control our incoming health damage a lot better. At rank 1, Combat Discipline minimizes your odds of killing yourself by accident while still building Vex armor quickly. It takes 50 kills if you lose 2 health per kill to max out your Vex armor. There's supposed to be a Prime Sure-footed here, but I have polarity problems. Also keep in mind this is the only build today that does not feature Rolling Guard, because I literally can't fit it on. Since we're bringing Combat Discipline to safely set up Vex armor, I've also brought Arcane Avenger. This is actually required to make our Fluctus reach 100% crit, making the damage much more consistent. The self-damage from Combat Discipline can also trigger with Arcane Avenger, and the sheer amount of enemies Fluctus can kill with full strip, this will be permanently active. 128 duration makes Vex and Ward last 32 seconds, which is just enough to not be annoying. You can either pick Heat Ward for more health max fueled by Equilibrium, or Toxin Ward for much faster reload on Fluctus. I built for 205 range to push Terrify out to 30.75 meter radius. This is to best take advantage of Fluctus' ability to shoot through walls and objects. Primed Animal Instinct from your companion will help a lot with where you can aim. As a general rule, I want at least 200 range on Terrify today if I'm using it, as 30 meter radius is not as big as you think. Strength is just above the 167 cutoff mark to ensure Terrify strips 100% of armor off per cast. This is also the reason why I'm only using a rank 4 overextended, otherwise the strength wouldn't be high enough. We're also slotting the Creeping Terrify augment because unlike our Heat Inherit AoE tile nuke builds I showcased last week, we're killing with a gun. So we don't want them to run away from us before we can kill them. It's capped at 80% slow scaling with strength, but that's enough. Equilibrium actually works extremely well here, since Fluctus is slower than Thermal Sunder or Null Stars at killing. This actually lets your pet trigger the synth set a lot more often, which leads to much more health orb drops to sustain your energy. There's exactly enough energy generation on this build to cover the cast costs, but then we added the Proteus Spectre to solve the ammo problem, which also offers more energy, so you shouldn't be running out at all. Let's look at that Garuda now. The weapons don't matter besides being utility statistics, so I'm skipping over this. If you want the info on what normal weapons and pets to bring and why, check out the utility statistics timestamp from earlier. It's in the description and pinned comment. Garuda works because we don't need armor strip. She's the opposite of Chroma, she needs more damage buffs instead. Or 4 has a fixed range of 60 meter regardless of your range stat at max cast, since waiting for the cast to max is required for 60 meters and also expands the width of the hit cone box on her 4. I've actually double stacked a Natural Talent and Matarai today for plus 100% cast speed. The Matarai Sling Strength buff also makes our Roar, her subsume of choice, stronger. Her passive scales with kills and decays very slowly over time, but landing about 20 kills quickly is enough to boost her passive from 0 to plus 100% damage. This is treated as a separate final multiplier separate from everything else. And for the build itself, there's supposed to be a Prime Sure-footed here again, but also polarity problems. This is basically a lightly modified Roar Garuda that was used for normal, non-Archgun weapons. If you want to see 7 different Garuda builds with 7 different Helminths, check out the video at the top right. Rolling Guard to remove pesky status effects, which is what Chroma was missing. A narrow minded to make sure her Dread Mirror isn't a hassle, as now it will last 42 seconds before you need to recast. Roar lasts 62.5 seconds here, and this is basically the ultimate comfort build. Your Dread Mirror is completely invincible from the front and absorbs incoming damage to be thrown by holding your one later. The Dread Heart's sole purpose on this build is for nuking Acolytes, since we do not have a way to armor strip them and they are capped to 4 slash procs. So casting your 4 on an Acolyte and hitting them with one massive slash proc from her Dread Heart will kill them instantly. Keep in mind, we are on 46% range, so the explosion radius is only 4.6 meters. Make sure you are actually aiming at least close to the Acolyte to ensure it connects. Besides that, we have Molt augmented on this build alongside Matarai for sling strength on double void sling to grant a total of plus 100% bonus strength. We reach 398 strength, which gives us a 119.4% roar buff, or boosting our slash procs created by Fluctus and Dreadheart by 4.81 times by double dipping. Keep your mirror up at all times, use your 3 to refresh energy, and bring Magus Elevate on your operator so you can heal by double tapping 5. Fast Transference is back, so this is super easy. Arcane Eruption is just for even more survivability since Garuda can only block incoming fire from the direction her mirror faces. Casting your 1, assuming your pistol has 2 Augur mods, will instantly refill all your shields to max. The last frame we're looking at today is Harrow. This is a Matarai Harrow because there are not enough slots to hit the 167 strength benchmark to full strip with 1 Terrify cast. If you slot 2 Crimson Shards for strength, you can also run Uneru on Harrow. Why Uneru? I said this Harrow with Fluctus at the start was best used in a team scenario, because it has no way to deal with Acolytes, so not putting 2 Crimson Shards on him means you gotta use Matarai, which means squad only. With Shards you can play solo and bring Uneru to armor strip the Acolyte. I've subsumed over Harrow's 3 here since I want to make use of his 2's buffs to reload speed and fire rate, as well as lifesteal to offset our combat discipline to proc Arcane Avenger. Combining Covenant with Arcane Avenger puts our Fluctus at above 300% crit chance on headshots, meaning you will only see those juicy reds. Alternatively, you can subsume his 2 off instead to keep a better energy economy, but you'll lose the lifesteal and reload buffs. Or you can subsume his 4 off and keep lifesteal, reload, and also infinite energy. It's up to you, but I chose to get rid of his 3 today because we don't have energy problems, especially with the Proteus Specter in the picture. This is a shield gate Harrow, using his 1, Condemn. It was massively buffed with reworks when Harrow Prime launched and now spreads like a fat cone, including a small radial disc that even covers behind you. Enemies are instantly locked in place for headshots and you get shields back per enemy hit. The insane amount of shields you can get back fuels your 2. It is irrelevant if you run a Decay Key or not on Harrow for shield gate because his 2 will easily give you back over 2,400 shields each time on Steel Path. Even with the key, the buff still lasts 55 seconds, granting 63% bonus fire rate and 125% bonus reload speed with Matarai Sling Strength active. You don't really need Covenant, but it does give you 7.65 seconds of complete invulnerability to deal with Acolytes, before granting a massive flat crit buff. You need to take about 2,000 incoming raw damage during the cast to max the buff to 50%, but that should be easy on Steel Path. Make sure to stay away from Violence though, as she disables your abilities and shoot from a distance. Because we got rid of his 3, I've chosen to run Equilibrium for the synergy with Viral Quills and Synset of our Panzer from earlier. If you want the info on what normal weapons and pets to bring and why, check out the utility statistics timestamp from earlier, and it's also in the description and pinned comment. This does mean that he only has 190 range though, with Terrify only having a 28.5 meter radius. Harrow's second passive grants him 100% energy max every time he spawns in or respawns after death, so Prime Flow is really handy to get his kit going. The lifesteal from his 2 completely offsets the self-damage inflicted by combat discipline and lets us run it at max rank. Our last mod, Creeping Terrify, ensures enemies tag don't get away since, well, Fluctus can't kill everything at once. And that's it. As of the Veilbreaker update, we're now able to bring Fluctus onto Steel Path and have plenty of fun with it. An Archoplasma on a stick, shot out by an infinite punch through Zenith. You gotta say, it's pretty hilarious seeing an Archgun, of all things, mowing down an entire hallway and more on Steel Path, right? And you can even hit things through doors and walls using a radar from your pet. Yes, I know it takes a Spectre to maintain the ammo, but hey, I did say this is just a meme build for dumb fun. Cheers! If this is your first time watching, feel free to leave a like or, better yet, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. 79.5% of you are not subscribed. I'm trying my best to get you new information out always, as soon as possible, like I've done with covering the Veilbreaker updates. Stick around if you want to see interesting memes and builds on a nearly daily basis. You don't want to miss out on any of that, do you? That'll be it for this video. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.